Hello and welcome. I hope everyone's fantastic today and welcome to Ask for More. I really do appreciate you being here. I'm just going to wait a couple of seconds for a few attendees to come on board. As you can imagine, in this technological world, we get so many distractions and I'm never really sure what's happening and everything. So let me know that you can actually hear me while we're waiting for a few more people to come on board. And I'll get started in a minute and a half. And welcome. I'm so glad to see so many people here. Thank you so much for, dedicating your time. Friday lunchtime, God, in my old corporate days, I think I would have preferred to have gone out to lunch than sit and listen to a webinar. But I'm so grateful that you have actually taken the time. And hello also to the people who are actually listening to the recording, because I still admire the fact that A, that you've registered, and B, that, sometimes it's a little bit hard, even though you've registered, you really want to listen to what it's about, but you're not really sure, some things crop up or whatever happens. But anyway, you're listening now when in your own time, which I think is fantastic. So, as I said, welcome aboard. And I'm going to get started now because I'm going to honour the people who have actually showed up on time. So, let's go on a journey. So, my first question to you is actually, what brought you here today? Now, some of you might be here because you know that there's more to life, but you just don't have any idea what that might be. Or some of you may be here because you're at a crossroads, in your life, be it your career, your relationships, or just generally life yourself. Maybe the kids have left home and you're not really sure, what's the next step for you. Or some of you know exactly why you are here. And I congratulate you on taking the first steps to actually take back control of your life. Some of you also may be just here because you're curious to see what I'm about. You may have been watching me for a while and just sort of figured like now's the time to exactly see what I'm up to now and to figure out, should I continue to see what she's up to or should I dump her? And you know what? Either way is fine and welcome aboard. But some of you may have also been dragged here by your friends or your spouse or your colleagues or even your boss has said you've got to go and listen to this webinar. So I would like to call you the support team, or you're here because someone else thought you should be here. But good on you, though I have to say that I'm a great believer that there are no accidents in life. And I know that you will receive greatly by being on this webinar. So thank you and enjoy the journey. And you know what? From my perspective, it really doesn't matter why you are here. I'm just grateful that you are here and that I have an opportunity to share my newfound wisdom with you. And this is the wisdom that I am so passionate about getting it out into the world, because I truly know if I had this wisdom when I was younger, and I know it's not that easy to put, an older head on younger shoulders, but I know how different my life would have been. And if my life had been different, people around me would have been different as well. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I'm about. So thank you. And let's get into an interactive journey. Let it all begin. So let me ask you another question. Do you ever have a day where everything just flows easily and you actually feel that you are valued, connected, and fulfilled? You can type these answers into the chat box, or you can just simply write them down and just contemplate on them. And maybe not even now, maybe over the weekend, or when you re-listen to the recording. Either way, just start to think from a different perspective. Or were you like me? And this truly is me in my corporate life. I was someone who was always eating too much, working too much, certainly drinking too much. And I was always angry, always on edge. And I could never understand why. And it's really, you know, something I'm passionate about is we all put a lot of things down to, well, what do you expect? If you work this hard, that's how you should be feeling. But it doesn't have to be that way. And that's what I really love, and that's what I'm really keen to share with you. But first of all, who was I? Because I keep saying, you know, me in my corporate life. Well, I have had 20, probably even closer to 30, you know, years in Australian corporations. And I was the person that most people would look at and go, wow, isn't she successful? Just look at her. She's a CFO of a publicly listed company, you know, and as we know with publicly listed companies, as a CFO, my salary would have to be listed in the annual report. And it was a great salary, but I earned it. As I said, I worked too much, far too much. So when it came to the time for them to actually rearrange and bring two companies together, I actually chose redundancy, because that was the one thing that they decided to reduce was my salary. And that was who I was. As I said, working too much, eating too much, drinking too much. But people from the outside looked at me and said, wow, she's successful. She's got the house, the car, the family, the kids, the overseas trips. And do you know what? I did not even realize how diseased I was. I was what I now call living in a Groundhog Day. And but more importantly, I wasn't honoring who I was. Since I have gone on this journey, on this wellness journey, and what I'm so passionate about is I now, you know, I'm an author. 11 publications, be it my gratitude journals, my ebooks, my paperback books. I'm an accountant. You know, English was not my great subject at school. But more importantly, I love being a speaker. That was something that I would never do in my corporate life. Sure, I present a board report and things like that, but that wasn't about accounting. It wasn't my passion. And even though I thought it was at my time, no, it's so much more than that. But I have to say, I have been lucky enough to work with a lot of amazing companies over the years, which have taught me a lot and have helped me to become the person who I am today. But seriously, this was me. This was a time bomb waiting to go off. I know, right? I don't even think it. I know that I have reverted a lot of problems that I could have helped, a lot of health problems. And I'm a great believer in the old adage of I spent my health to get my wealth, and now I'm spending my wealth to get my health. I literally was a time bomb going off, waiting to go off. And if you don't believe me, and I'm sure some of you don't, let's have a look at some photos. So this was me in 2007. And this was me late last year in 2016. Now let's have a look at the two, you know, who I was and who I am now. And I'm not about to sit here and knock who I was in 2007, because that's who got me to be who I am today. And I love the fact that I can say to women, I've lived your life and it doesn't work. I can now assist you and inspire you to empower yourself so that you can get all the joy and all the happiness back in your life. But let's have a look at who I was in 2007. Now that's a passport photo, because I would never have my photo taken. I would even cringe as I walked past a store window and accidentally caught my reflection in the window. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. Just look at me. I look very masculine. I'm certainly a lot more overweight. As I said, it's my passport photo. I didn't even put my lipstick on correctly for my passport photo. That's how disconnected I was to who I am. But more importantly, let's have a look at my eyes. Okay? Now, we've all heard the saying, and if you haven't, you might be that young that you may not have, but we've all heard the saying, Elvis has left the building. Well, I feel in this photo that Karen has left the building. I look vacant. I don't even look like I'm there. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping women and eventually men, because I know that when women know who they are and they know where they're going and start to take control of their lives in all areas of their lives, that's how we can heal the world. Because when women are right, then they will look after their men and their family. And then it goes out into the workplace and then into the community and then into our state, our country, and eventually the world. And that's what I want. I want everyone to be living the life of their dreams and desires, to be passionate about what they're doing, to actually wake up each day and jump out of bed and then tap dance to work and tap dance home or tap dance to whatever they're doing that day. And it doesn't always have to be work. So I'm sure, and type in anything into the chat box if you sort of want to comment on anything. I just love to hear your opinion. But I'm sure you'll agree that I look younger now, nearly 10 years later, than what I did then. And I'm so glad my passport expires this year so I can update my photo. But I'll still keep showing this photo, obviously. So, have you ever heard of a wellness wheel? Okay, the concept of a wellness wheel. Now, my wellness wheel has 9 components, as you can say. And this is all the different components of your life. So I want you to sort of, as I go through them, I want you to write down how you feel on a scale of 1 to 10 where you are in your life. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take time for you to actually sit and think about where you are in your life. I'm going to ask you a few questions on each of the areas. And then write down on a scale of 1 to 10 whether you feel that that part of your life is in balance, that you actually even spend time in that part of your life each week. 1 is low and 10 is in balance. Okay, so let's look at mentally. Do you constantly build skills and use tools to improve your mental acuity? Do you make choices and decisions with creative and unique thinking? Actualize from awakening your genius from within. Are you open to different ideas and beliefs? Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, when you sort of think about those questions, where would you put it in there? Then professionally, are you mastering the skills of your profession, pursuing excellence, being number 1, embracing your consequences for decisions and actions, choosing your own goals, doing what you love, actualizing your own career dreams, and are you inspiring others? So 1 to 10, just put down where you feel you are at this time. Then financially, do you ensure your money is utilized in the best possible way? Appreciate and value money. Maintain fair exchange, reciprocity, and non-indebtedness. Do you manage, budget, or spend money, energy, and resources wisely? Then from your family. So your family, this also includes your friends. Do you spend time connecting and interacting with family and friends? Do you set realistic expectations with relationships? Create a quality home or nest for all? Do you encourage all to achieve their own path of full potential? Do you travel and explore with loved ones? Scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being you've got it down pat, you're in balance. Socially, do you live in companionship with others in a community rather than in isolation? Initiate transformation. Raise socio-economic standards. Honour the right to dignity, independence or privacy. Have polite manners, are courteous, and value equal opportunity for all. Where would you put yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? And then physically, do you maximise your wellness? Maintain adequate and quality eating habits. Exercise and stretch your muscles. Build endurance and stamina. Are clean, neat, well presented and tidy. Appreciate the beauty of nature and the arts. Just put down a figure 1 to 10. Spiritually, are you living from a spiritually vital core? Feeling a sense of meaningful purpose. Have a sense of balance and inner harmony within yourself. Being genuine and truthfully honest with yourself. Knowing and living your higher spiritual values. I'm not coming from any religious religion or anything like that. This is just a spiritual knowing that, the universe will provide. Emotionally, do you understand yourself and cope with the challenges life can bring? Acknowledge and share all types of feelings: anger, fear, sadness, or stress, hope, love, joy, in a productive manner with others. Do you understand and empathize with others' feelings? And then the last one, after you've written that down, environmentally, do you recognize your own responsibility for the quality of the air, the water, and the land that surrounds us, to make a positive impact on the quality of our environment, protecting the environment and preserving nature? I always love the saying that we don't actually inherit the earth from our parents. We actually borrow it from our children. And it's such a beautiful way to look at things, because it really does encourage you to obviously, treat the environment the way it deserves to be, look after Mother Nature. Because at the end of the day, sometimes we live on this planet as though we have somewhere else to go. And we all know that that's not the case. So on a scale of 1 to 10, and you sort of think back to last week, do you feel that those whole 9 areas of your wellness, Neil, were actually balanced? Did you spend time in each of your 9 areas? Just quickly, what was your ranking on a scale of 1 to 10? If you just quickly add up, the 9 areas and then divide it by 9, where would you actually come in? Where are you balanced? Are you actually balanced? If you're anything like me, when I was in my professional life, I had my professional life like down pat. I was, rising the ladder. I was actually earning, right, more than double of what the average CFO salary is, because I always knew how to ask for it, which is why I have called this Ask for More. And it's not just ask for more financially, it's ask for more time, more energy, to ask for more fun times, ask for you to be emotionally in balance, to understand who you are, what triggers you, why that causes you, how you can fix it. But as I said, I knew how to ask for more. I was earning a great salary, but because I wasn't in balance, I wasted a lot of it. And it's okay to ask for more salary, but if you're only going to waste it, that sort of defeats the purpose, because all you got to do is work harder for it. So that's why it's all about the wellness wheel, so that you can get that in balance, and then you will naturally be able to ask for more, because you know who you are and you know where you're going. So I'd like to ask you a few more questions. Are you currently frustrated with your life? Is the majority of your day spent running around after others? And how would it be to have actually fewer dramas in your life? And how much time do you currently spend looking after yourself? Or are you actually like me, who I was? Are you this person? Okay, you might not have blonde hair, but that's not, you may even be male, not even female. But just think, how much easier your life would be if all of this was not an issue in your life. You actually had more energy, more time. You were healthy, you know, and being thin doesn't mean you're healthy. You actually understand that you are eating correctly. You're buying beautiful organic food. You are know the fact that what you eat and drink today walks and talks tomorrow. So what is the one thing that these three women actually have in common? So I've chosen these three women because I actually admire all of them. The beautiful Layne Beachley, I have to say I'm very grateful. She wrote the foreword to my third book, and I've met with her a few times, and she's just an amazing person to be around. She certainly works her tail. The beautiful Kate, always smiling. She's, you know, and she gives a lot back, as does Beyonce. You know, they've all got the career, but they've all got the family life, and they've all seem to have everything in exactly how they want it to be. They are actually walking and talking. So how do they act differently to the way that you may be acting? Well, it's really simple. It comes back to the fact that they have their wellness wheel in check. They understand the 9 areas. They understand that professionally is no important than family or financially. It all comes together. Having it all in balance is what it's about, so that you can roll along in life easily. We've all been on a bike when one of the spokes goes out of whack. What happens? You just get holed up and you cannot move. So a balanced wellness wheel assists you to seriously take control of your life, so that you can lead by example, as these three beautiful women are. And I could have had 3 million women up there, because there are a lot of people who understand this concept and live that way. But more importantly, they have the courage to think differently. They don't just accept the way that things are. And more importantly, they have the courage to speak up, because that is what it's about, creating the authentic you and your dream life. Just imagine for a second what your dream, authentic dream life would be all about. One thing for sure is, as I said, I used to live in a Groundhog Day days. And now I realize not only did I do a disservice to myself and my family and my friends, but more importantly, to the company and to all of my colleagues. As a senior management in that company, if I had a balanced wellness wheel, if I led by example, every single person would have been like that. Now just imagine your workplace. If everyone was living a life where they are all in balance, just imagine how few negative things would happen. Just imagine how passionate everyone would be, how they would be there and present, because they know that the other 8 areas of their life have been taken care of at a different time. So they don't have to be at work wanting to be at home, and at home feeling guilty that they should be at work. They understand that at this present moment is all I have to worry about. So I will do what I'm meant to be doing now. Everything else is in check, and I am creating this life. So there's a couple of things, a few wake-up calls that I really do feel that a lot of women need to understand. So there's 4 of them that I just want to touch on quickly, because as we all know, women are my passion, even though I firmly believe I'm actually here for men as well. Because when women understand who they are and know where they're going, then men can actually know who they are. They can understand us, and then it'll just create a better thing. So the first wake-up call that I feel a lot of women require is that sometimes they can really be a controlling partner. And this has truly increased, all the stats show, in the last 15 years, that women tend to control, you know, their partner, their kids, and they micromanage all of that. And that only comes back to the fact that they're ignoring who they are. They've lost contact with who they are. They don't know who they are. They have poor self-esteem, and they feel that they can create it by actually everyone else around them. So if I make sure that my husband is doing this and my kids are doing this and you know, the house is this way and everything like that, my whole life is in control and I am perfect. Forgetting this fact that actually we are the only person that we spend our entire life with. So we need to know who we are. We need to make sure that we are being looked after. And once we do that, everything else just follows. And the second wake-up call is chronic overspending. Now, these statistics are unbelievable. And as we know, we feel a lot of the time that we have to have things so that we can be happy, so that we can be in control, so that we can say, well, this is who I am. But we all need to realize that it's not about the things around us, it's about who we are and how we walk our talk. And let's be honest, you know, ladies and gentlemen, when was the last big purchase that you just had to have? And when I have it, my life will be so happy. How long were you happy for? Let's be honest. A week? An hour? A couple of minutes? Before we started thinking, oh, that didn't really do it. Okay, it's something bigger that I need. 8.5 years, an average lifespan, is spent on shopping. So why are we asking for more if we're only wasting it? We have so much around us, we really don't require it. And the third wake-up call is our health. Now, 63% of Australians are overweight. They reckon by 2020 it's going to be 70%. So, and I know for me, right, I spent and my health was, I was certainly overweight. I was not healthy. I am now. It's amazing how different it is. I even love to cook. I love to know what ingredients I am putting into my meals. I love the fact that it's so healthy, but I was not always like that. And I know I was heading towards either a heart attack, a stroke, or type 2 diabetes. You know, my parents have had, my mum has type 2 diabetes. My father died from a stroke. And, you know, my mum's had a heart problem as well. So it's not, you know, really that great for me. But I know that I've reversed that road that I was on by understanding about my wellness wheel. And that's why I say, if I just wish I had this knowledge when I was younger to understand it is about you. It is about you asking for more. But first, you've got to ask you what's best for you in every situation. And the last one, it might seem like a little bit of a strange one, but it's something that women in Australia really need to understand, and really in the whole world. Homeless shelters, right? They are full of older Australian women who have poor superannuation through divorce, domestic violence. Women of all social status, unfortunately, are finding themselves in the homeless shelters because they have allowed their partners to take control of their wellness wheel. They don't understand every single 9 areas of their life. They have, and then something may come up. Something may happen that all of a sudden they're not exactly where they should be. And there isn't many other alternatives. So something to think about. It's all about the wellness wheel. Everything in life is about getting this in balance. So what are the warning signs that maybe your life isn't that great? You know, I certainly was ignoring the wellness signs because I was seriously just doping myself out with food and alcohol and work and shopping and having a good time, but was it a good time? I'm not so sure. So I've come up with 7 problems that I've identified. So the first one is that you're always putting yourself last. And this is notorious with women. You know, we were brought up, you know, you've got to look after everyone else, you've got to serve, you've got to be the good little girl and everything like that. But we've all been on the plane where we've heard the flight attendant say, If in case of an emergency, put your own oxygen mask on first before you assist everyone. This should be said every day to everyone. We are required to put our own oxygen mask on first every day. And it doesn't take that long, an hour, each morning to look after yourself. Your whole day will be completely different when you actually put yourself first. Something that every woman should understand, because when you're topped up and you have energized yourself, you've been breathing, you've been stretching, it's amazing how much more energy you have for the day, and you won't burn out at 3 o'clock. Problem number 2 is that we are stressed 24/7. We seriously do not know how to unplug. We do not know, we do not understand ourselves on a biochemical level, what causes stress, how to de-stress, all these other things, which, I'm so passionate about sharing with people. Problem number 3 is that you don't value your true, authentic self. I certainly didn't. We saw the photo. I was so masculine. I didn't understand or even value the fact that being feminine is as important as having your masculine traits. Now, whether you're male or female, it doesn't really matter. These are just labeled feminine traits and labeled masculine because they're more common in females or males. But the thing is, if you've ever met a person who is charismatic, a great leader, has great understanding, everyone wants to be around, it's because they're in touch with both sides. And that's what life is about. So have a quick look at it and just sort of go through the list and go, yes, that's me, that's me, and see, are you more balanced on your masculine side, or are you actually more balanced on your feminine side? I'm going to leave this slide up for a little while. Just quickly, write down which one you feel, you could be more nurturing, or maybe you could be more passionate. Maybe you could have more confidence. It's really important to understand that these 12 traits or 24 traits are really important and really highly valued traits to have in you. And you notice on the feminine, it's not being sexy, it's being sensual. And there's a big difference. Having patience. I had no patience when I was in my corporate life and very masculine. It was always now. And, I was so unaware, to be honest, unaware of who I was, and just totally focused on this is the job. I wasn't aware of who I was, let alone where anyone else was coming from. Okay, so I've, even take a photo of it and work on it later to understand, because we'll keep moving on. Problem number 4 is that you are seriously going to work stressed, tired, and generally unhealthy. And being thin, as I said earlier, you may be thin, but are you healthy? It's the same with being fat. Doesn't mean you're unhealthy either. I've met a lot of people who may be considered overweight, but they are actually very healthy. Or are you actually this person who I used to be? This really should be a picture of me. But anyway, as you can see, this is the main thing. Most people are living this way. And what happens is, especially when you have a whole workplace full of these individual people who are generally unhealthy, stressed, putting themselves, last, and they're just not being true to who they are. This is why all these things tend to happen, in the workplace and, at schools or in society, on social media. It's because we're not who we are. We're disconnected to who we are. So, and you have a whole workplace of disconnected people, that's why we can have these problems. But unfortunately, what tends to happen, because the universe sort of tends to, have you ever noticed that things can go from bad to worse, and an unforeseen tragedy may happen, because it's like, they want to give you a wake-up call, to get you back on track. And I'm the first one to sort of go, wow, I got my wake-up call. Okay, the Grim Reaper came to visit. Obviously not to take me, but unfortunately, just, 5.5 years ago, he came to visit and he took one of my amazing sons, Dan. He was 27, and my husband and I woke up one Sunday morning to find him, we thought, passed out at our back door, but unfortunately he had passed away. And that's a photo of Dan and me, which is actually on the cover of my second book, which is Beyond a Mother's Worst Nightmare. And I guess I had to write, if I'm totally honest, I had to write that book. And I honestly believe it was divinely guided by Dan, because, as tragic as it is, I'm the first to say I spend more time with him than I actually do with my other two sons who are in this realm. He's always showing me signs that he's around, and I just love it. But I didn't honour him or myself when he passed away. I literally went straight back to work after his funeral, 2 days after his funeral. And to be quite honest, it would have been the next day if his funeral probably hadn't been on the Friday. So, it's about understanding that things happen in your life as signs. And I'm a great believer, I since on my new journey, I love to break down words. And I now say that every perceived negative, there's a lesson for you. And the sooner you get the lesson, it's less on you. Well, in Dan's case, I firmly believe him passing was meant to be my wake-up call, for me to actually be able to go, right, no, you should be helping women to stay women and, have a balanced wellness wheel and understand all these concepts. But of course, I just ignored it and went straight back to work. So as life does, the Grim Reaper came to visit. 15 months later, I got my second wake-up call, which was me being made redundant. And sure, it was my choice. But I know that if it had happened without Dan passing, I don't think I would have as easily hooked back, because I now know that my job was my identity. And a lot of people are living that life because they don't have that balanced wellness wheel. So they've got, 1/9. A 1/9 is like 9 nights. It's their one, that's their big whole thing. And that's why it's not good to not understand your wellness wheel. And look, they were my two things that, had to happen to me. But, you could have another thing happen. You could have a bankruptcy, or you could have some chronic illness. And, so many people that get it to wake up, or a divorce could come. As I said earlier, you don't know what's going to come. And you are the only person you're going to spend your entire life with. So balancing your wellness wheel and getting it where it should be is the key. And I'm not saying, it stops you from, connecting. Family is one of them. The thing is, you'll show up. Your authentic self will show up. So every single part of your life will be bigger and better. And the fifth problem that I've identified is that you're saying yes when you really should be saying no, and vice versa. If it's really easy to say yes, that's when you should actually go, I'm saying no. Because is it honoring me? Is it getting me to where I want to be? Because women just say yes a lot of the times just to be nice, just to be liked. But that's why you're so tired. That's why you have no energy. And that's why you have no time, because you're literally doing things for everyone else except for yourself. And, if you're saying no, if it's really, really, you're saying no too easily, that's when you should be looking and checking into your body and realizing that's how you get out of your comfort zone. Because If it's like really niggly and stuff, that's when you should be saying yes. And I love Richard Branson, you know, he's one of his famous quotes is, if you're offered an opportunity and you don't know how to do it, say yes and figure it out later. And that's how you just move out of your comfort zone. And the good thing about it is as you move out, it expands and it never goes back. And life's about it continually expanding and expanding and expanding and doing things that you never really thought you could do, but outside of, you know, as I said, I've written books, I'm a speaker, I love it. And I get so much joy from it. So much joy. You know, I'm a radio host. Nothing. I've even modeled. I'm 5 foot tall and, you know, overweight. And guess what? I've been a model. How cool is that? And it was fun. You know, something I never thought I'd do at 5 feet. Problem number 6. You don't take responsibility, which means you're blaming everyone except for yourself for everything that occurs in your life. And when you come from a different perspective and actually go, okay, why did I create that? What does it mean? What am I meant to learn? Where am I meant to grow? Great way to actually come. And then my last problem, number 7, is that you're actually living a life which will tick off most of the 5 regrets of the dying. Now, the 5 regrets of the dying, I don't know if you've heard of this before, but it's really, it started off as a blog and it's now a book. And it was written by an Australian palliative care nurse, Bronnie Ware. And she literally interviewed people, you know, palliative care, who were dying. And she asked them, what's your biggest regret now that you know you're dying? And so the 5 regrets are, so the 5th one was, I wish I had let myself be happier. Now, isn't that incredible? We go through life, oh, if I have this, I'll be happy. If I do this, I'll be happy. But you know what? Happiness is a choice. You can be happy now. No one can take your happiness away from you unless you allow them to be. So, and comparing yourself to others, and which a lot of people do, is the quickest way to make yourself unhappy. Compare yourself to yesterday you, and believe me, you will be happy because you will see how much you're growing and how beautiful you are and how, you know, everything about your life is fantastic. So the 4th regret was, I wish I'd stayed in contact with my friends. And you know, we have so many friends come in and out of our lives and we get busy and we just never see them and all these sort of things. So it's really important that these people who were dying said, I wish I had stayed in contact with so-and-so. And because they're in their dying weeks, it's not always that easy to actually reconnect with people. Maybe now, because this was written in the late 90s, it might be a lot more easier now. But you know what? Spend time. And it's, as we saw, it's one component of your wellness wheel. The 3rd regret was, I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. Now, this was incredible in the fact that she said that many people suppress their feelings in order to keep peace with others. As a result, they settled for a mediocre existence and never became who they truly were capable of becoming. Which, you know, this really reminds me also of Wayne Dyer's, you know, most favorite saying, don't die if you know your music's still in you. Be who you're meant to be. Say no when you want to say, you know, when you're thinking about saying yes. And then the 2nd regret of the dying was, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Now, when she did this, most of the men were older and they'd been the major breadwinners, and they literally said that they had missed their children's youth and their partnership's companion. You know, all men she nursed regretted spending so much of their lives on the treadmill of the work existence. And that's why I love this wellness wheel. It's one component, not the total whole you. It really does bring you back into this new perspective. And guess what? The number 1 regret of the dying. I wish I had the courage to live a life true myself. This truly is the one. She says, you know, when people realize that their life is almost over and look back clearly on it, it's easy to see how many dreams have gone unfulfilled. Most people haven't honored even a half of their dreams and had to die knowing that it was due to the choices they had made. Don't die with your music still in you, as things. So if you were to die in the next week, and unless you've got a different birth certificate to me, mine doesn't have an expiry date on it, this could happen. Would you have these regrets? Would you have more? Would you actually go, oh no? It's really important for us to understand that our life is our choice. No one is going to live it for us. And, it's all about our wellness wheel. So, and I just love this whole concept. So would you like to be different? Would you like to have a different perspective? Like just recently, the Women's Agenda, this survey was out just a week or so ago. And look at it. The question was, what are your professional plans for Australian women in the next 2 years, 24 months, right? What's holding you back? And there was over 2,000 women that did this survey. And the biggest regret, 51% of them said, confidence in my ability is what's holding me back. Now, I understand it, but I was shocked by it because confidence was never something that held me back. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping women, helping workplaces to have healthy people, to understand that, sure, you can have children, but you can still have a career. You can have everything. It's just a matter of a different perspective, a different way of doing things, not buying into, it has to be this way. There's infinite numbers of ways of doing everything, which is why I'm so passionate. I've put the link down there. And if it's too quick and you haven't got to write it down, just email me and I'll send it to you. It's a really good survey to actually read. So what would you like to do differently? Would you actually like to do things differently? Or are you actually, as I said, who you are and you're happy. You're just, curious to see what I'm about, which I think is fantastic. So what I have found is the wellness wheel, to create a balanced wellness wheel, is that you require to fly, to be the center of everything that you do. And you can fly. And the fly is the basis of all of my programs, which I'm so rapt about that it has come to me. So what does fly actually stand for? So, as I said, what does fly actually stand for? Because it's amazing. So F stands for first, L stands for love, and Y stands for self. That's it. First, love yourself. From that perspective, you can balance your wheel. And then your family will balance their wheel. And it will be a different wheel, but that's good because we live in a realm, a magnetic realm where there's negative and positive, perceived negative and positive, and together we create that balance. So the step number one, as I said, is first. And believe me, right? The result of you putting yourself first is, as I said, I earned $143,000 more than the average CFO. Okay, sure, I could ask for more money, but I didn't put myself first, right? And I wasted so much of that money because I did not actually balance all 9 areas of my life. But the good thing is, when you know how to balance your wellness wheel, you will be more productive and every single thing gets done more efficiently. You will collaborate with every single person, and more importantly, you will delegate responsibilities, not just physically, emotionally and mentally as well, because you will be putting your oxygen mask on first. And that's the best thing about the fly system, is you understand who you are and how you're going. And all I do is I just guide you. I love it. Step number 2 is all about love. Love for you, love for yourself, love for every person, everyone in your life, everything in your life. And believe me, there'll be a lot of things that you will throw out of your life, which is great. So are you actually loving your life and everyone in it at the moment? And then the third step is all about yourself, because you are the most important person in your life. So how did you rank yourself when you actually did the wellness wheel earlier on? Where did you come? You know, and do you know what? Under 5 is where most people are. Most people aren't even aware that there are 9 areas to their life. So how can they have it in balance? They might have defaulted, accidentally come in and sort of put a couple of marks on them. But when you do have a balanced wellness wheel, you will then seriously be able to ask for more money and keep it, not waste it. You will have more time, you'll be bold, you will have more energy, you will, more importantly, stand on your own 2 feet, and you'll play more, and you will value everyone and everything in your life, even your tormentors. Let's have a look at that word, tormentors, to mentor you. Everyone is there to help you to grow, right? As I said, to give you a lesson so that you can learn and grow and continually go on. And that's why I just love everything about the wellness wheel, because I truly want all women to fly. Because when women start flying, we will then be able to create a world where men and women are truly seen as equal. We will assist men to be able to balance their wellness wheel, because men are just, you know, I've had so many men say to me, why are you only working with women? What about me? And I'm going, I actually think that I'm working with women to help men, because at the end of the day, I am the mother of 3 sons and I have an amazing husband. So it's all about helping everyone, because then we can heal this world. Just imagine your workplace. If you had everyone, male and female, understanding this concept and living from this perspective, how much more productive would you be? How much more profitable would you be? How much more fun would be happening? Not only from the employees and owners' perspective, how about the customers and the suppliers? Just think how you could expand it and expand it. Because when people see how passionate and how much fun people are having, they will always ask, what are you doing? What's different? I want it. I want some of that magic pearl. You know, it's really important. So as I asked you earlier, you know, I'm going to ask you again, what brought you here today? You know, as I said, it doesn't really matter. I know that this is probably completely different to the way you thought it was going to be. So as I would like to ask you now, would you really like to design your dream life in the next 90 days? Would you like your workplace to actually have a new perspective, a new way of doing things? Because sometimes corporate can be quite dark, and I have lived that life, and I know for a fact that when everyone knows who they are, they then actually give more. And it's all about giving and receiving. That's what life's about. And when you give more, everyone gives more. It's like the paying it forward. So I invite you now to make 2017 the year that you can actually ask for more and have it all, because you can have it all. It all comes back to understanding your wellness wheel. And I do not buy in when anyone says, women can't have it all. I said, you can, and you can have it all now. But it comes with looking after you first. So I invite you now to focus on you, so that you can truly have, you can help everyone else through your Dream Maker, through my Dream Maker program. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do. That's why I just love the fact that I can help other people, because I know the life that they're going through, and I understand all the challenges they're having. And I understand that, you know, it takes 3 months just to change one behavior. So just have a quick look at your wellness wheel that you sort of, you looked at. How many of them were below 5? So I now invite you to actually have a free 30-minute fly review one-to-one session with me. Yep, it's free, because the whole wellness wheel is all about, first, you'll have a new perspective, you'll have more time, energy, and fun. Love. When we love, we strive to be better than who we are. And when we strive to be better than who we are, every single person who comes into contact with us will be exactly the same. They will create their well-being. You'll have better relationships and you'll have your success. And when you look after yourself, your whole belief system changes. You will have perseverance, happiness, and prosperity. And at the end of the day, that's all we want. So I just, my why is for what I do is so that you can seriously have it all. Every single thing. And there's probably even other things that I could have put on there. But you know what? I think the biggest, most important one after love is the freedom. When you have choice, that is how you create your life. And you get it through the FLY system. So I now ask you, and I'll just load it up for you to book your free FLY review now. Here's the bit.ly link, but I'll also put it up now so that you can, you can, on the side, you can book a free 30-minute session with me so that we can actually see, where your wellness wheel is at and how we can create a balanced wellness wheel. That's what it's all about. You want more? That's why, that was the title of this whole session. Ask for more. Well, this is the key. You can ask for more. You can have whatever you want. So I'm here to assist you so that you can fly and ask for more, because please, your wellness wheel is what it's all about. And I'm so passionate about getting this out there. So, out into personally, professionally, I'm all about creating for our country, Australia, and for the world, balanced wellness wheels. How much of a difference can we make when everyone is going to work energized, more productive, passionate? Everyone just is there doing what they're there to do, leaving earlier because they are not just going through the motions. What an amazing world will that would be. So please, just book your wellness wheel now, your FLY review with me right now. Because remember, it's not only is it free, I'm really cool for 30 minutes. I'm cool all the time, but it'd be so good to chat with you and see where you're at, because it's all about you. It's not about me. I was only joking then. You probably gathered that. But please remember, the #1 regret of the dying, that I wish that I had the courage to live a life true to myself. That's the one thing that you need to understand. Do you currently live that life? You are the only person you're going to spend your entire life with. So now is the time to create the life of your dreams and desires. So thank you for being on the call, and look at that. I did it in an hour. I really would love your feedback. I'd love to chat with you. So now's the time to actually just click on it and just to see, where it is. So thank you everyone who has been here. As I said, just email me. I'd love your feedback, just to see all about it. And I thank you. And remember, go and spend some time just having fun, because that's what life's about. Okay, so thank you and have a great day, great weekend. Bye for now.